Okay, so this is going to be the COL subset where we just have two bars, like this and like this. So let's just get into the algs. So for these first two cases, we're going to have a massive block in the front. That's very easy to recognize. And the only difference between these two cases is that there's going to be an edge that's not going to be part of this block, either on the left side or on the right side. So if you have it on the left side, you're going to hold the case like this, and this is the alg that you'll do. So you just do an R prime, and then that sets up into a Y perm, because these two pieces swap and these two edges swap, and that's just a Y perm. So you can just do an R prime and then this Y perm and then an R. So yeah, AUF stickers is extremely simple. Just look to the block. So yeah, that's the alg. And for its mirror, where you have the edge that isn't part of the block on the right, you're gonna hold it from this angle actually, and then you're gonna do a similar thing where you're kind of gonna do an F into Y perm, because now you have this F, and then that sets up into a swap between these two corners and these two edges, which is a Y perm. But because Y perm starts with an F, you actually start with an F2, and it's better to finger trick it like this, so where you do F prime like this, so you don't have to go down and do this U2 and then do this weird Y perm like that. You can just start it off like that, and you also want to finish it like this. So you're gonna stand in home grip the entire time. So again, that's a F2, and then you can also think of this as like, if you know old Pachman for blind, you can think of this as an F2 setup into the corner comm for this to this, and then an F2. That's just another way of thinking about it, but I think the setup to Y perm is more simple. And again, the AUF stickers are just for the block, so really easy to see. So this next case that we're gonna have is just gonna have kind of like a T-perm pattern, where it's just like this in the front. But you can also recognize by there being two blocks on these sides. Yeah. And how you're gonna recognize the AUF is from these side stickers. So it's the same recognition for a T-perm, except these two corners are just twisted. And indeed, if you were to twist these corners, it would be a T-perm. But this is the alg that you do. So you just do R prime U2 to take out this pair, and then you do this like J perm kind of thing, where you do like F prime, and then take out like this thing, and then do this. But now, from here, you're going to insert this pair into the back by splitting it up with an F move, and then inserting the split pair, and then fixing the rest. So yeah. Finger tricks are a little more complicated for this, so I'll show it. So the start is pretty simple. You just double flick and then use thumb. But then for this next part, because you get set up, because you already used your index finger, your middle finger, or at least my middle finger, is way more set up to do this U move. And then that gives me time to put my index finger back, so I do that, and then just reload for the last F move. Or you can also use the thumb F prime. Okay, so this next case is just gonna be this case where we have this block right here on the side, and we're just gonna recognize AUF from this edge in the front. So yeah, this is the alg. So we started with an R2, and then you do the F, this F prime with your index. Take out like this, the green, yellow, and green, yellow, orange pieces, and like this, and then you do that. Then you do an R2, and then a U, and then to pair this up with this. This is kind of a setup move to do this so that you don't like split up the pair. You do this R prime or R prime, and then you make the block, do the R2, and then into the pair like this. So again, it goes like this. So you do the R2, do that thing, then you do this, and then to set up, to solve these last couple of pieces, you first do the R2, then you move this over here, then you do the R prime, then you make this block, then you do an R2, and then you insert the pair. And AUF stickers are right here again, if I didn't mention that. Okay, so for these next two cases, it's just gonna be like basically like two R-perm patterns, but you're gonna hold them where the headlights are facing you for both of them. So for one of them, the block is on the left, and for the other one, the block is on the right. And the AUF stickers for both of these cases is just gonna be this front sticker right here. So yeah. And here's the first alg. So when you have the block on the right, you're gonna do this alg. So you're gonna do this like L2 kind of thing. You like roll it kind of, and then you do this. You do that thing, and then what you want to do is do that. So like canceling into, if you know this case, which I wouldn't expect anyone to if they're learning U, unless they learn T first, but you know, it's just like this. It's kind of like a cancellation into doing that at the end. So again, you do this thing, and then you put this pair in, but then before doing this R prime, you insert the back pair as well, like that. So finger tricks are a bit difficult because of this first R2, but after that, it's fairly simple. You just have to re-grip your thumb and kind of your position of where you are turning, but after that, the alg is fairly straightforward. So just use your middle finger, or I guess index works as well, but middle is better. And then you can use your ring finger to do this push, to do this flick kind of thing. If you have no AUF, that's really nice. But you can still use this and then use your right hand to do the other AUF. So that's kind of a nice trick as well. So when you have the block on the left, though, you do it like this. So you just mirror the alg to the right, and it goes like this. So you do this R2, and then a U2, R2, or R prime, U2, and then you insert the pair, but before splitting this up, you insert the back pair as well. So for finger tricks, it's, yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty straightforward for this, but then do your ring finger for this, and then for this, you can't really do the, like, flick with your right hand, or at least I can't. I don't know. It's just, I can only do my hand is like this, so my right hand, only my right hand would do this move, and since we're doing most of the moves on the right, it doesn't really work for me. But if it works for you, that's great, and that is definitely a useful tool. Okay, so for these next two cases, we're just going to have a 4 cycle. So where this edge goes to here, which goes to here, which goes to here, which goes to here. So technically, if you do this U move, they will all line up to their sides, but that's not where you do the alg from. So yeah. And the only thing that you really have to recognize is that there is a cycle going like that in this circle. And then, but also you have to recognize which direction it's going in. But you don't really have to look at where the pieces are going, because you can just look at the relation of this color and this color. So for this case, these two are opposite, and you'll do one alg for that. And when these two are the same, you'll do another alg. So when they are the same, you're gonna do this alg. So you're gonna do this F move, and then a U, and then you're gonna do an R2, and now you're gonna do a combo between these 3 pieces, like this. And now you're gonna do an R2, F, and then enter the back pair. For finger tricks, it's fairly simple. You just you do the small regrip up here, and do this push U, D prime push like normal, but here you want to do this ring. You want to do this move with your ring finger, so you want to make sure you're doing this F like that, and then insert the pair in the back. And then when you have these 2 pieces opposite, what you're going to want to do now is you're going to now want to take the pair out in the back, do this F move, R2, and now do this com like this, and you do R2, U, F, or U prime, F prime. And how the finger tricks go is like this. So pretty similar, just the reverse of the alg before. So you still want to bring your thumb up here, and then you want to take this pair out, do this F move with your thumb, and then D prime push, same thing, and then the same thing with your ring finger doing this F move at the end, like that. The last thing to mention is the AUF stickers, and for both of these cases, it's just the corners, so just look at the corners for where the AUF is going to go. So as you can see for this one, there's no AUF because the corners are in their solved places. Okay, so for these last 4 cases, they're gonna be pretty similar recognition, because you're gonna recognize that there isn't really anything to recognize except for an opposite block or an H-perm pattern. And there's 4 cases that have either nothing to recognize but this opposite block right here, or you're going to have nothing to recognize but this H-perm pattern. And I'm just going to break them down into their the inverses of the algs, because you're going to use the inverse for you're going to use an alg for one, and then you're going to inverse it to get another case. But anyways, I'm just gonna get into it. So when you have this H-prime block right here in the front, or right here, you're gonna put it here in the front, and you're gonna do this alg. So you're gonna do this wide, this like wide R move with the sexy move, but you like started with a wide move, and then it's like also a sledgehammer kind of, but you cancel into putting this into this slot as if it were an F12 slot, like this. Then you do a U prime, and then you do R, you do R prime, and then insert the pair like that. So what you're gonna want to do for finger tricks, pretty basic, even though the alg is a little complicated. You just do that, middle finger right here, index right here, double flick, and then I would probably go for middle finger right here, but you can also do index after you do this R prime, of course, and then thumb F prime. And the AUF stickers are either this edge or this edge, but I usually would go for this edge. So for the inverse of this case, how you're going to recognize it is that there is nothing really to recognize except for this opposite block right here. And nothing. I don't know what I'm saying. So here's how the alg is going to go. So it's, like I said before, it's just the inverse of the alg that I just showed. You're going to hold it from this angle, and you're going to just start it like this. So you just start it with this F prime, or F move, excuse me. You're going to put it right here, and then you're going to insert it into this spot as if it were an F2L slot. And then now you're going to insert it into this actual F2L slot, while canceling into this this L case, which you would do this F prime and you would do this R, but since you already have the R and F move done, you can just do this U prime and then insert that pair. So finger tricks for finger tricks and AUF sticker, it is, you can technically use this edge, but I like to use this edge because it is like with this is part of the opposite block, and so you're already looking there for AUF. Plus it keeps consistent with the edge that you would use for the last case, which is just something useful to do to keep a pattern of. So yeah, and then for finger tricks, I like to do this thumb F prime. Pretty basic stuff. I would either do this push or like a flick, but most of the time push. And then, but for this one, I would do this like flick thing. But then the rest is very simple. So here are the last two cases, and they are going to be pretty much the same recognition, except just on the opposite side. So we saw that we had this H-prime block right here the first time, but now it's right over here. And instead of seeing the opposite block right here, it's actually in the back right here. You just can't really see it that well, but you can also recognize by it not being visible, but that is a bit of thinking to do, just to recognize that there's this thing in the back. And normally I would just look to the back, even though it's probably not the best. So anyways, here's how the algs go. So first, when we have the case where there's these two opposite blocks, or not these two opposite blocks, well, technically this H-prime pattern right here, you're just gonna do you're gonna do an R2. You kind of do like, you do like the start of an R perm. So it's like the start of, it's like the start of this case where you go like that. So you start off like, you start this off like this. Actually, I did it wrong the first time. So you started off like this, where you do R2 and then an F and then like this, and then right here you would insert the pair, but you can actually cancel into doing a combo between these three pieces and inserting this pair. So you can do this D prime, RUR prime, and then a D, and then an R2. So for finger tricks and AUF sticker, well, the AUF sticker is going to be just right here. There's nothing else really to notice it by. So yeah, it's just on the left right here. And you kind of just have to look to it. Even though it's not, with the pieces that you're recognizing, it's pretty close. And it's not on the back, which is the biggest deal for visibility. But for finger tricks now, pretty simple stuff. You can do, for here, you can do thumb or index. I would probably do thumb most of the time, although maybe index is better. Doesn't really matter. For this, yeah, just do the D prime push. Nothing much to it. And then for this last case, where we have the opposite block in the back where you can't really see it that well, it's just going to be the inverse of the case that I just showed. So how that's going to go is where you do this R2 D prime, and then you take this pair out like that, do this D move, R2, U, and then you finish off this like as if it were an R perm, kind of. So what you're gonna do is like, you're gonna finish off like that. So for finger tricks, fairly basic again. Just do R2 D prime push the ring finger, take this pair out because it's right there, and then push this, pinch this, push this. I flick this. You can also pinch that, but I probably would just flick this and then do the R2. And then the AUF sticker is just on the side. Again, that keeps with consistency with the other case, and also there isn't another AUF sticker, so you kind of have to do it. But anyways, that was all of those cases. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.